What's up today, gang? It's your girl Wabosha here with another do-it-yourself tutorial. So here is a couple of stuff you'll need for the project. The first thing, of course, is the shoes that you're going to customize, and my shoes of choice are the Bata Ngomas. If you don't know what Ngomas are, they are these very comfortable, very cheap shoes. They go for 299 shillings, and I chose mine in white because it's a clean canvas, like you can do anything on a white surface, so that is what I choose for my project. The second thing you'll need is paint, and this is the brand of paint that I am using. It is the Fevicryl Acrylic Colors fabric paint, and that's the trick over here, to use fabric paint. I love this paint so much. I use them each time I do this on my shoes, and the colors that I have are vanadium green, that's the number 35 one, and black, the number 021. So those are my two colors. Each goes for 80 shillings. Again, incredibly affordable. Both of them 160 shillings. Next thing, of course, that you'll need are paint brushes or sponges, depending on your preference. But for the detailed parts, I'm going to be using this tiny brush right here. That's how it looks. It's very tiny and efficient for details, and it's in the number LY1. And this was 100 shillings from Textbook Center. Also, the paints are from Textbook Center. Last thing you might also need is a masking tape, and this is just so that your painted lines can be very clean and crisp. Another thing you might need is a newspaper to lay on your surface that you're working on, so that you don't dirty it or stain it. The next thing that I want to mention is that if you're not very comfortable using this brush for your detailed work, you can use a fabric marker, and the one that I have is Pentel. It's just written Pentel M10 from Japan, but it's from Textbook Center, and it was maybe, I think, around 300 shillings. I got this ages ago, and I have done this shoe project around 2 times before, and both the 2 times I did it, I did use a fabric marker. And the disadvantage of using a fabric marker is that it does bleed. When you're drawing your lines, the pen bleeds, and the line is not as crisp. So that's why this time I want to try paint and the paintbrush. And one more thing is that if you wash it, like after a couple of very many washes, the fabric marker will fade faster than the paint. So where you've drawn on with the marker starts to look older when the paint still looks very new and fresh. I mean, you could go over it again, but then it just bleeds more. So I think paint will be the better option if I can get really straight lines with the brush. So the first thing that I did is I went around the shoe with tape so that I can secure the edges, and I ended up having to use duct tape for this because, as you can see, I ran out of my masking tape. So I did use duct tape because it was the only other tape that I had available in the house. So the next thing that I did is crumple up some double-sided newspaper pages, and I inserted them inside of the shoe. This is just so that I can have a very firm surface to work on. If you don't do this, then the surface is very wobbly and it's difficult to work on. So next I took my ruler and my pencil, and this is what I used to mark out where I wanted my horizontal lines to go. And I actually came to realize later on that I didn't need the entire line. Like, I only needed that first line where I used the ruler, because even that going all the way, it wasn't really that straight to begin with. Also, the other thing is I think you want to alternate the size of your gaps, unless of course you're doing a striped design. Then you want to alternate, make some gaps wider than others. And another thing to keep in mind is that when you're painting this later on, you won't be able to make your line as thin as the pencil. So you also need to leave enough space to accommodate the thickness of your line later on. And let me tell you guys, kneeling like this was such a struggle. It just took me way back to those high school pano days, because this used to be the one punishment we always used to be given. So to be honest with you guys, this is the part that I really struggled with in the entire process. Like, throughout this whole shoe thing, this is the part that I was like, Christ, what did I get myself into? Lakini I realized, you remember how in the pencil part I told you guys that I realized I didn't have to go all the way to the end with the pencil? It's because the shoe is made out of fabric, and the fabric usually has this natural horizontal and vertical lines. So all I needed is that fast marking with a pencil, and then all I had to do was follow the natural lines on the fabric, and that's what I started doing. Like, I started placing my tape according to how those natural lines on the fabric were going, and I actually realized, like, I took so many L's in drawing those lines with a pencil, because now I realized how uneven and not straight they were. So following those naturally occurring horizontal lines is key, you guys. It is such a major key to getting those lines very straight and thin. I don't know about you guys, but I usually really enjoy watching time-lapse videos, especially for like paintings or drawings. You can just find me sitting down and an entire day I'm just watching time-lapse videos. So that's why I ended up leaving this whole fast-forwarded video for you guys to watch. I don't think many of you will appreciate it. Some of you might find it boring. I'm sorry if you find it boring, but yeah, I chose to just let it play with the music so that you can see exactly how I went by drawing my lines. So after you're done drawing your lines, now comes the fun part, which is filling in those lines with your design. And this is the Aztec design that I did come up with. I did, however, lose a very huge chunk of my recording, and by the time I realized that my camera was not recording, I was already more than 3/4 way done on the second shoe. I really do apologize. I was annoyed, but there's nothing that I could have done about it. So here I was able to show you guys how I created the dots on my shoe, and I used a Q-tip or a cotton bud depending on what part of the world you come from. So just like in the nail video that I did earlier on my channel, the harder you press on the shoe, the fatter your dot will be. So that is just something that you need to keep in mind. So for the rest of the lines, I just used my same #1 brush and I played with lines. I did some diagonal lines, some horizontal lines, some vertical lines. I filled some of those lines in, I left some of them blank. So yeah, I promise it's not that hard. You just want to really take your time and have fun with it. Another thing is that the internet is filled with Aztec designs. You can just look up a design and copy the exact same design on your shoe, or you can even copy the one that I did in this video, and then we can have matching shoes and be twinning or wherever, you know, #slay squad. So you can definitely be done here. I personally think that this is a very cute design on its own, but however, I am very extra. You guys already know I am incredibly extra, so I used my #14 brush and then #02 brush and that vanadium green color to go around the sides of the shoe. The other thing that I did do is I went ahead and cut out that Ngoma sign from the shoes, because I mean, let's be honest, these are no longer Ngomas, these are sleigh shoes now. So now, like I earlier mentioned, I'm just going to go around the entire shoe with that vanadium green color. And now we are about to sit and watch another time-lapse-ish video. You are allowed to fast forward if you do find this incredibly annoying. I don't know why, I just find them oddly satisfying. So now that your masterpiece is complete, you want to lay it outside for at least 24 hours before it's ready to be worn. So that is it for this week's video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and if you're new to this channel, please subscribe for new videos every Mondays and Thursdays. Always remember to work hard and have good intentions. Until next time, bye!